Salutations, Queenie Q here, and today I was thinking of, hold on one second, something's not quite right. I think I know how to fix this. There we go. That feels better. Now, today I wanted to do Sewloud's 20 question quarantine costume. How do I English? Since I'm recently starting to make YouTube videos on costuming, historical costuming, I thought it'd be fun to also participate in this. So let's go ahead. Number one is, what was your first costume? Now, I've been wearing historical costume and like historically inspired costumes for a long time. My mom would take me to the Renaissance Fair when I was pretty little and she would make my outfits. She's also who I learned to sew from. So I got to a certain point where I made a lot of costumes. I started cosplaying, and at a certain point in high school, Mom was like, do your own sewing, stop making me do it for you. So I started doing my own stuff, and then like end of high school, community college, I was super into steampunk. I've now absolved of my sins. No shame on steampunks. I've graduated from that. That was a certain phase in my life, and now I've gone on to more historical costuming because that makes me more happy. Again, no shame to steampunks who are still steampunk. I still listen to Steam Power Giraffe. I still enjoy Professor Elemental, and I still can enjoy some steampunk stuff. So, but anyway, I had this $2 per yard poly taffeta, beautiful royal purple and black damask with like the velvet flocking. You know what I'm talking about. A lot of people have done this, especially if they're into goth, or like Victorian Gothic. So I made this dress, and it's a whole whirlwind of anachronism. It's like an 1860s inspired skirt with an 1890s jacket, and it's just like, what? And I remember taking the jacket from like a steampunk pattern, and that was actually a mishmash. I Frankensteined 2 patterns to make it. Number 2 is, what is your favorite costume you've made, or what costume are you most proud of? I made this walking skirt ensemble. The pattern, I think you can still get it from Patterns of Time on Etsy. It's like the PK walking gown. And I love it. It was a hard pattern only because it was like, I think it was one of those ageless patterns where it's like there's a few directions, but it's mostly like you figuring it out. So it was interesting. I remember doing a lot of mock-ups, and it was one of the first things I really did mock-ups for. So once I had finished the jacket, I was really, really happy. I need to make another one because 1, I've gotten bigger since then, and 2, I want to make more, not just this weird kind of burgundy brownie wine color. Number 3, what costume do you dream of making? This dress is from the Bunka Gakuen Costume Museum, and I want to say it's Shibuya, Japan. I'll put a link down below. And I love this dress. It's hard not to love it. It's pretty crazy and over the top. And I've always thought that if I someday get married, I would totally try to recreate this dress for my wedding. I would make some alterations, like the butterfly. I think I would do like a Luna moth, or maybe even a bat, because I love both Luna moths and bats. Bats are my favorite animal. And I would change maybe the main color of the silk satin, probably like a very light minty green to match the Luna moth, or like a light lavender to do the bat. Number 4, what is the sewing task that I love versus a sewing task that I hate? I kind of like gathers. It's like a weird gathering. Actually, I think what I really like doing is like setting gathered sleeves, like especially poofy sleeves, because the hardest part is just, I mean, there's no hard part to it. The hardest part maybe I didn't make this shirt, by the way, this is Forever 21, but let's pretend I did. The hardest part for me would just be the plackets on this, like doing this bit. I hate doing plackets. I hate ironing. I hate it with a burning passion. I don't know if it's that it's like a vestige of like domesticity that I just want to reject, or if it's that I can burn myself because I'm very clumsy and I tend to burn myself, or, you know, that I have to put water in it anytime I want to use it, or just like it's, I have to pull out the ironing board and I have to heat up the iron, you have to make sure you're on the right temperature, otherwise you burn your fabric. It's just so much, it's so much. And I know, whatever I make looks way better when I actually iron it first. Like when I iron the cloth first, or when I iron or press the seams, or, but it's just, it's such a thing and I just hate it. I'd never press my French seams and I really should. I would be a much better seamstress if I did. Number 5, would you rather sew wool or silk? Confession time. I haven't sewn much of either. Silk-wise, I've done mostly like do peonies, and I'm pretty sure they're poly blends. And I know I've only ever done poly taffetas. So they're relatively easy to sew for me, other than like the fact that you really want pinking shears next to you the entire time. Wool-wise, again, I haven't really sewn much wool. I don't think at all. But I do have some skirts I've cut out that I'm going to make. One with a matching cape. Well, I should say capelets with teeny, tiny little cape. But I'm excited to work with wool. When I'm matching, it's going to be way easier than like a silk satin. Oh, satin. I hate satin now. Okay, again, I've only really worked with poly blends or poly 100%, which I have feelings about. But my wallet doesn't have feelings about. I look forward to actually working with more of both. Number 6, would you rather go to a themed event or pick your own theme event? So growing up, I've been going to the Dickens Christmas Fair in San Francisco with my best friend for like at least a decade, probably a little bit more because we started in middle school. And generally I think it's supposed to be like 1840s, like beginning of Victoria's reign, to like 1850s, like late 1850s. However, I generally wear 1860s to it, which is fun because then you get to put bumper cars with the other ladies who are in their crinolines. It's great. Like, people don't want to walk past you or like squeeze past you because they're like, oh, she's got a cage on, it's rigid. No, it's not. I tell them all the time. I'm like, I'm squishy, it's okay. I'm like, I'll push it so that they know they can squeeze past me in like that tiny bookshop. Generally, like a lot of people I see going to it just kind of wear whatever they want, like steampunk, like I used to do. I see a lot of people with different things like gothic. I've seen Lolitas recently. A lot of Lolitas go to it, which are really fun, and I enjoy that. Pick your own theme or a themed event. It would be fun to go to a themed event, only in the sense of it'll really help transport me to the time period and give me that full immersive experience. Number 7, would you rather attend a big ball or an intimate dinner? Big ball. Hands down, big ball. I've always wanted to go to just like a ball event. I've been, again, going to Dickens Fair for years, and they have Fezziwig's ballroom, and I really enjoy that as a very romantic person. I grew up watching period pieces, and ball scenes have always been my favorite. My favorite scene of The Labyrinth, the masquerade scene. I love ball scenes. I guess I just love balls. Anyway, yeah, big ball would be really great. Intimate dinner would be great, but I don't know anyone in the costume community. I have like one friend who'd be interested into doing that sort of thing, but I don't know anyone else who does it. So I feel like it would be very hard for me to get invited to one and not feel very anxious the entire time since I don't know anyone. Number 8. Do you prefer to machine sew or hand sew? Machine sew. Machine sew all the way. I prefer machine sewing. Hand sewing obviously is great for small details, or like not small details, finishing work, as I call it. So I like the inside of the collar once you have the collar sewn on, and like the inside of the sleeve thing. I have a thread sticking out. Gross. I didn't even make this and there's a thread sticking out. That's shameful. Forever 21. Machine sewing, so much faster for me. I'm also one of those horrible people who sews over pins and will lose pins and sewing needles. I'll learn my lesson one day, guys. I promise. I'm just incredibly lazy. Number 9, do you like wigs, hair pieces, or your own hair? Well, clearly mine's really short. I would love to rely on wigs, however, I get hot very easily, and I don't have any good wigs currently. I need to get a nice lace front one so I could do the 1860s, you know, Queen Victoria look. I am also going to be dyeing my hair soon, a very unnatural color. So I think I'm going to want to get some hair pieces to go with that because I really love the idea of having a natural hair color and doing historical costuming. I've seen a couple others who do it, and I love the look of it. I love how it really beautifully contrasting, and I've always really liked alternative girl styles. I've grown up dyeing my hair. My mom has been dyeing her hair since I was little, so it's really normal for me to have crazy hair. 10. Name 5 small businesses for costume things. So most of these businesses I have not bought from, but I really want to. Like Townsends Sons. I love their videos. I was gifted one of their cookbooks for my birthday, which I was so excited. But I want to get some of their glasses and some of their reenactment items because I love living history and yeah, it all interests me. I also really love Dames à la mode, and I want to buy all of the things. I just don't have the money for it. Same with American Duchess shoes. I'm not really including them on my list because everyone includes them and we all know them and love them. I love their books and their patterns and everything, and I want their shoes so bad. Patterns of Time. I love them. I've given them a lot of my money for patterns over the years. They're fantastic. Oh my god, E.T. Prettycoats. If you don't follow them on Instagram or on Etsy, like, they have the most gorgeous petticoats, and I want them. Historical Eyewear Company. I really would love to have a pair of historically period accurate glasses for events. These are clearly not Victorian in any sense, because God knows I'm not doing contacts. 5 YouTubers that I think you should watch. I just started watching Adelaide Beeman White, and I really enjoy her content. She does a lot of 1890s and she dresses up so gorgeously. I was trying to channel her today. And I just really enjoy her videos. My only complaint with her videos is that they're all in like the iPhone portrait mode, so it's really hard for me to watch on my TV because I exclusively watch YouTube pretty much only on my TV. Mariah Patty is also really cool. I was enjoying her capsule videos. These are all people I've recently started watching pretty much. And she's really inspired me to start trying to do a capsule wardrobe during this whole lockdown thing, because why not, right? She also does these really cool videos that are like mini tidbits on like fashion history or like fashion things, fashion culture around the world. And I was really enjoying the Tibet one. That one was super, super cool. I think she's Swedish, and I believe her name is Elin Abrahamsson? Abrahamsson? Something like that. My Swedish is not very good, I'm sorry. So I just really, her content is so cinematically gorgeous, and I have a lot of Swedish heritage in both sides. Both my parents have quite a bit of Swedish heritage, so watching her content is very like nostalgic in a way that it's not, because I'm you know, I've never been to Sweden, but it makes me feel very much like, it makes me happy because I feel like I have a tie to my ancestral homeland, if it were. And she does cool stuff. I mean, so many cool things. Oh, the Closet Historian. She does beautiful stuff. Her stuff is mostly like vintage, so more like 1940s, 1950s, although she does do some cool 1920s 1-hour dress sewing videos. But I really enjoy her content. She does cool thrift hauls and things, so when I'm not feeling 1890s-ish, I'm also feeling 1940s, 1950s, 60s, and onward-ish. And this one I'm definitely going to mispronounce because my German is terrible. Vintage Bursche? Bursche? Something like that. He's pretty cool. He talks about men's fashion, fashion. I'm from California. I don't know where this accent comes from. He talks about men's like suits and vintage fashion, and his content's very enjoyable. Very enjoyable because he also has like tutorials like on how to do bow tie. He has like this kind of flat cap tutorial. He talks about like Peaky Blinders, which is always fun to talk about. And you know, rates accuracy of outfits and things like that. So he's fun if you like men's fashion. Number 12, favorite color. Lilac. I love lilac. Any hue of purple is perfect. 13, pearls or sparkles. Definitely both, but pearls are, like, I love pearls. Granted, I'm not wearing any pearls right now. I was gonna wear pearl earrings, but whatever, I can't find them right now. Pearls, my favorite. However, amethysts are a Aquarian's best friend. Chef's kiss. Love amethyst. Anything is fantastic. Number 14. What is a costume trip? What is a costume trip you've dreamt of taking? Well, I recently heard about Les Bals des Vampires, French, that happens in Alameda, California, and I was like, excuse me? I used to live in Alameda. Granted, it was when I was like 6 years old, so I definitely wouldn't have gone to it. Essentially, I want to become Nausea from What We Do in the Shadows, because she is queen. Like, I just want to be a vampire when I go to historical events, so then I have an excuse to wear like all blacks without being in mourning, of course. Number 15, favorite cocktail. So I love a good dirty martini, but it's gotta have vodka. And the other thing is, I like my drinks to basically also be snacks, so there's gotta be at least 3 olives swimming around in it. But here's the kicker. The olives have to be the ones that are stuffed with blue cheese. Now, this makes the dirty martini very dirty, but it's very tasty. It's like the best contrast. If you hate blue cheese, don't ever try it. You're gonna hate it. But if you love blue cheese. Who is a costumer you'd love to meet? Bernadette Banner. I feel like we share a lot of interests in 1890s and turn of the century fashion, and she seems very sweet and lovely. Granted, I'd love to meet all costumers. She's really where I started to like really dive into a lot of these costuming people, and I feel like she would just be very nice and non-stressful to meet, if that makes any sense. Number 17, plain or patterned? Patterned, especially if it's like a little chintzy kind of thing, or more specifically, bats or spiderwebs, or moths, or bugs. I love bug patterns. Love me anything with good spooky print. That's not too cheesy. It's gotta be like that Angela's Attic that I can't get my hands on and I really want my hands on. Number 18, use a pattern or make your own. I prefer to use pre-made patterns, despite fit issues I usually have because I have strange proportions. But I end up drafting a lot of my historical ones. I have quite a few drafting books. I just find that sometimes drafting is way easier. Granted, when you have to like size it up to your size, then it gets a little tricky because then I have issues with math. Kathy, hey, please help me with the math. My head's not built for it. I can do simple arithmetic when it comes to yards of fabric to cut, but sizing up something is strange for me. Number 19. What is your favorite era to wear? 1890s. More specifically, a year, 1895. I was born in 1995, so I always think 1895 is a great, I don't know, something about the 95 thing. It just is beautiful to me. And I love that humongo sleeve. It's not quite the gigot sleeves of the 1830s, but it's like, it's close enough. And I really like hourglass shapes on the women's bodies, so I enjoy that a lot. Last but not least, number 20. What is one thing that we don't know about you. I love the motif and the visual representation of spiders. Not a fan of the real thing. I'm actually pretty arachnophobic. When I see a live one in my house, I have an actual like anxiety attack. Anyway, thank you guys for joining me today. I'm looking forward to making more videos. I'm actually working on a couple right now. So stick around and you'll see them. Let me know. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments below. I will try to answer them. Oh, also I have a Ko-fi. Ko-fi. So if you feel like doing a one-time donation to help a sister out, I would appreciate it. But you don't have to, obviously. You just help me figure out how to do some of these projects, because sometimes I need a little extra funding, if you know what I mean. Sourcing materials in this pandemic is interesting. Shipping fees are more expensive, even with Amazon Prime. Anyway, thank you again for watching. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.